the Item Detailed Wizard. This is a new feature in Edge 21.1. Before we get into how to use it, I want to explain what item details are. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add an item. When you first go to the add screen, before you put in your category, all the generic fields that are available for every item show up. When you choose a category, it will fill in specific details for that category. These are item details. Each detail grouping has up to 8 fields that can be added. So there's a total of 16 item details that can be collected on each individual category. Based on the category, those are going to be different. So if I go to a pendant category, those details now change and I have more details that show up. To make changes to item details, you would do that under the category. So if I go into inventory and I go to categories and I go to list, if I choose a category and I go to details, the detail tab will show me what currently is on the details for that category. So in this particular category, which is diamond wedding bands, I have style, metal, color, finish, and ring size. In the past, you could do pretty much anything you wanted here, and there wasn't a lot of direction. We've changed that, where you can now edit an existing field or create a new one. If you wanted to remove a detail field, that would be under the edit also. We're going to go ahead and create details, and then we'll go through and edit. So under create, you will need permission to add or edit item details. So this is a new permission. Detail name. What is the name that we want to show up on the item record when people are putting this item in? So for this diamond wedding band, let's say that I carry some branded lines and there are collections that these different bands belong to. So I'm going to create a new field called collection. I am creating a new one. I do have the option to click copy from, choose a different category, and then I could choose a field from a different category. We are going to create a new one. So the first thing it wants to know is what type of field is this? Is this a number field, a dollar field, a text field, or a list field? Number, dollar, and text are fields that allow the associate or whoever's putting the item in to type whatever they need to. Number and dollar will be narrowed to strictly numbers. Text will allow any characters to be entered. In this scenario where it's collection, I'm going to say I have a specific list of collections that I want them to choose from. So I'm going to choose list. When you're using a list, you can create a new list for this particular field, or you could choose to use an existing list that is already in the system. Once you choose a list, you'll be able to modify it towards this particular detail field. We're going to create a new list on this one. Is this field required? If this box is checked, they will not be able to enter an item in this category without filling in this field. Also, any item that already exists, if you try to open it and save it, it will require you to fill this information in. When you're choosing list, you will also get another option, which is must match list. This means they have to choose from the list. They cannot type in their own information. If I uncheck this, when we try to finish, it's going to tell me that this means the associate will be able to either select a list value or type into this field. If I want it to happen, I could say yes, but I'm going to say no to go back and hit must match list. So only the values that I put into the list can be selected for this detail field. Storage field. Where do you want this data to be stored? By default, it's always going to start off with a custom detail. Custom details is a spot in the database that will hold this information, but it's not searchable. There are only certain fields that are searchable. If I hit that drop down, I will get all of the searchable fields that are available to this category. None of these match what I'm putting in, so I'm going to leave it at custom detail. What you'll notice is that the fields that were already selected for storage, style, metal type, metal color, are not here. You cannot select a storage field that's already being used. When we hit next, because I chose the list and create a new list, it is going to make me fill in my details here for the list. So I'm going to hit add. You have a tag value and a description value. So if you choose to print the collection on the tag, whatever's under this short value will show up on the tag. Long value is what shows up in the description. So if this collection was called Moonlight, my long description could be Moonlight, my short could be Moon, and that would be what prints on the tag. If another one that I had was Sunset, I could type Sunset as the short value, and the actual long value would be Sunset Glow. So in the description it would say Sunset Glow, but on the tag it would say Sunset. You can add as many values as you need to. If you want them to be in a certain order, you can use the move up and move down, or as you add them, you can add them in the order that you want. Once I have the options that I want, I would hit next, and I'd hit save. When I finish, there's now a new detail field for category 110 called collection. So what that means is the next time I go in and I want to add an item, and I choose category 110, I will now have a new detail field called collection that will have 2 selections. So that's how we add a new detail type that is a list to the category detail tab.